So I think we can all relate to that situation where maybe we're at a party or we're at a friend's house and everything's going pretty well until maybe a few attractive girls show up to the party, or maybe just the party gets filled up with a ton of people, and all of a sudden you start physically tensing up. And you notice yourself. You're not really that calm, that relaxed. You kind of start tensing up, being really still. You start talking like a robot, thinking of any conversation ideas becomes really difficult. You become really quiet. Your eye contact like goes. You start looking at the floor, and you physically can tell that you're becoming weird. Like you're starting to act weird, and that is making you feel bad about yourself, which is making you even more tense, which is making you act even more weird, feel even more weird, act even more weird. It's a negative cycle, which eventually just leads into you being the weirdo of the party who kind of just stands there, sits there in the corner, tries to act cool, whatever, and is really just super anxious the entire night. There's a very simple reason that this happens, and it has to do with just literal physical relaxation. Really quickly, if you want to learn way more about this, like I speak way more in depth about this topic and about all different tons of different topics, check out the first link in the description. Now, what I mean by physical relaxation is if you were to think back on the times when you were the most charismatic, when you were the most funny, when you were the best conversationalist, what was one thing which was always present then? It was you being physically relaxed. Like imagine when you're with your best friends or maybe with your family. You're sitting in a room. You're not over here thinking where your hands are, right? You're not thinking what you're gonna do with your hands. You're not thinking about how you're gonna sit and how you're gonna talk and where you're gonna look when you're talking. Everything happens naturally because of the fact that you're relaxed. And the reason you're relaxed is because when you're talking to your best friends or when you're talking to your family or anyone who you're close with, you're not searching or trying to achieve anything by it. You're just kind of killing time and having fun. The reason you start acting weird when, for example, attractive girls show up to the party or to the hangout is because you expect something from them. Let's be honest, you probably, at least in the back of your head, kind of have the idea of like, if you say everything right, if you say the exact correct things, you're gonna get laid. You're searching or striving for some sort of result in that conversation with them. What this gets you is now you're not over here just saying whatever, being, relaxed. You start tensing up because now it's not anymore that you're just being you're being in a conversation, you're just having fun. Now you're performing. It's like you're in a video game, in a level. You're trying to beat it, so you're trying to lock in. The only problem is it's not like real life is not like a video game, and but you're trying to lock in and consciously say the exact things which are going to get you to your goal. You actually just start sabotaging yourself and you start being really weird. What you end up doing is you end up raising your filter for what you have to say, and you become really quiet. Like when you're with your friends, you're not over here thinking like, oh, maybe I shouldn't, you're not thinking twice about saying some racist joke because you're afraid you're gonna offend them. You're not thinking twice before cursing at them all because you're afraid they're gonna kick you out of the house. You're super close with them, and you know they're not gonna get offended. And even if they do, you don't really care because you're all so close and you're just relaxed. That's why you can always come up with conversation topics. That's why you can always be funny, and that's why you're fully relaxed. But when the baddies show up to the party, now you need that result. And now you start filtering what you say, and before you say anything, you start double taking like in your head, like, should I say this thing, should I not? And your brain kind of just shuts down, and you stop thinking of any conversation topics. Now, consciously, because again, you're performing, you're trying to get to a result, you start acting weird, like, should I say it this way or in this way? Should I talk like this or like that? Should I look at this place or at that place? You start performing, and when you're performing in these social situations, you just start acting like a robot, acting really weird, and everyone can tell, especially yourself. What you need to do, if you want to fix this, and you want to get back into that relaxed state, is you just need to let go of the result. It's as simple as that. With the mindset you need to adopt. When, for example, the group of the cool guys who you always wanted to hang out with comes around, or maybe the hot girls come around, you need to completely disassociate from any end result you might have, like taking the girls home or getting invited to parties with a cool friend group, and you just need to be fully and authentically just yourself, not care at all. Now, this is really difficult to achieve. I'm not gonna lie to you. And one of the best ways to do it is by using kind of these positive visualizations, right? Like while you're at the party, but also before the party. What you do is voice crack. What you do is you get this visualization of yourself after the party, and in this kind of universe where you've achieved like perfectly everything that you wanted to achieve at the party. So you imagine yourself, for example, walking home, being super proud of yourself because maybe you got the girl's phone number, and maybe the cool guys invited you to their party, and you were really social and you were really cool, and you acted in the exact way that you would have liked to. You really ingrain this visualization in your head until you start getting that kind of positive, confident feeling in your chest. That is what will give you the kind of relaxation and the confidence to full on just kind of lower the filter and just start talking shit like you do when you're with your best friends. And by doing that, you will just become way more charismatic, way more interesting, and way more attractive to girls, and you yourself will just have a way better time. So just the next time when you notice yourself kind of tensing up and everything, just kind of try to visualize yourself after the party or the meetup or whatever, kind of happy that you got the end result that you wanted, and you will start relaxing. Of course, you could do a few things like take some deep breaths, and of course, kind of just start thinking like, I don't care about any end results. I'm not trying to get anything from these people. I'm just here to have fun. And by doing that, like ironically, you will get the exact results. It's like that old, I don't know if it's like a saying or whatever, but it's like if you chase girls, the girls will run away from you. But if you stop chasing them, they will start chasing you. This is like the exact kind of thing. If you're trying to perform and you're trying to be some cool guy, you're gonna be the furthest thing away from that. But if you're just relaxed and you don't care about how you're acting, you're just yourself, that's when you really become the charismatic cool guy that you want to be. So that's just something to keep in mind. And if you really want to take your communication skills and your confidence and every aspect of your social life to a completely different level in a record time, super simply, like generally just turning off your brain and letting me tell you exactly what to do, when to do it, and how to do it, and achieving the social life and getting a girlfriend and achieving all of these things in record time, check out the first link in the description. That's where you will find my course, which I have been perfecting and crafting for the past 3.5 years that I have been learning and studying about this skill. That is where you will find the absolute best information, I think, on the internet, from dozens of books that I've read, from just like dozens of YouTube videos, hundreds of hours of content consumption. You will find it all by clicking on the first link in the description. If you found this video helpful and you want to learn more about this topic, you can click on this video right here. Click on the subscribe button and do the work.